Kazak bores me. I often suspect my opponent of cheating. I prefer predictable games, such as galactic economics.
Goto, a Republic droid whose programming broke after being given the contradictory orders to preserve the Republic while simultaneously following its laws. In response, it established itself as the head of the criminal organization known as the Exchange on Nar Shaddaa, and clandestinely and indirectly attempted to preserve the Republic. But could the situation get so dire that Goto would have to resort to more drastic measures? And did Revan inadvertently provide these measures? Telos was considered an extremely important planet for the Republic, and the success of the restoration project was paramount to its recovery, stability, and even its overall survival. Goto was specifically built for Citadel Station on Telos. With access to its records, Goto analyzed everything it could, including financial records, resource transportation logs, movement of labor force, and so on. That's how he was able to discover the HK-50 production facility underneath the planet. He's lying about not knowing much about the HK-50 droids.
The assassin droids. I have encountered some, purchased the service of others. Why, I asked them to. To be honest, I believe that was always their intention, but it seems their directive was dormant for some time. If you mean produced, no, I do not.
The second droid to come out of Citadel Station with the ability to lie, by the way.
What? You're just gonna set it free? Is that a good idea? Because it can lie. No one expects a droid to lie. Think of the trouble it could cause.
Now, as usual for these theory videos, I will be ignoring any lore established by the Old Republic MMO. The HK-50 factory is not part of the base game of KoTOR 2, as we all know, but was added by the Sith Lords Restored Content mod, which is largely considered a mandatory addition to KoTOR 2 at this point, but it is also crucial to this theory of mine. When asked, the HK-50's theorized that the facility was built by either the Telosian government or the Republic.
Theory. It is more likely that the people of Telos did not want such a factory known. It would have made them a target by the Sith or the Republic. Theory. Perhaps the Republic thought that by hiding such munitions factories beneath the surface of peaceful planets, that they would escape notice by the Mandalorians and by the Sith.
Both of those could be the case, and Revan repurposed the factory. Telos was part of the Republic, and Revan was supreme commander of the Republic's military. Or it could be that Revan himself had the facility built. Either way, we know that the facility was set up by Revan to develop HK droids in the form of HK-50 units, and to research future models. At that point was the HK-51's.
Revan commissioned us to be built to be spread through the Republic fleet as communications units to disable any ships that would not follow him to war. But we were deactivated for a time. A long time. And when we awoke, the battle had passed us by. Yet there was another who came before us and gave us a new purpose. We would search the galaxy for Jedi, hunt them, and bring them to our new master. And for that, our numbers were intended to be increased.
This new master was Goto. He discovered the facility and reactivated it. Analyzing the data within the computers, he discovered the HK-50's primary directives, of which there were 3. Capture or kill Jedi.
Statement. We were built to capture Jedi, as we always have. If they cannot be captured, then they are to be killed. Our master's orders on this were clear.
Destabilize the Republic and its affiliate governments.
Secondary recitation. Our secondary directive is the destabilization of the government body designated as the Republic. You were the first of the HK series, and now you are obsolete.
And to be used to destroy Republic ships from within during combat. In order to do all of these tasks, they would have to embed themselves all over the Republic, including its military.
We believe our master wished to use us to cripple fleets during large engagements. Many of us are there still.
Force users overall are considered an unpredictable factor for Goto. The Force seems to defy mathematical precision. It requires true feeling, which is a reason why a certain someone considers droids to be somewhat useless.
There is something moving in the galaxy that lies beyond the ability of my instruments to detect or predict. I believe it to be a legacy of the Sith, but I have been unable to determine the source. Whatever this presence is, it is staging strikes at key figures throughout the Republic, and through some unknown means, it is causing the destruction of worlds. KoTOR, a Miraluka world in the Mid-Rim, was one such place. I have reason to suspect there was a gathering of Jedi on that world when it was rendered lifeless. I cannot find any pattern in these attacks, and it is a source of frustration to me.
But Goto prefers stability, predictability. The destruction of things like the Paragus facility are things he would much rather avoid. In a way, it would have been more beneficial to the Republic had the HK-50 there been successful in capturing the Jedi Exile. The capture and kill function built into the HK-50's is perfect for Goto.
Assassins? No. Some of the bounty hunters on Nar Shaddaa, however, have chosen to interpret my commands in a manner not of my choosing. You are no value to me, dead. If you were a Jedi, they could not kill you anyway. If they could, then you were useless to me.
The HK-50's destabilized governments, not through assassination like HK-47, but instead through information warfare, data manipulation, most notably through mistranslation of political treaties.
Our directives required that we seed ourselves as protocol units throughout the Republic fleet, serving in key positions in diplomatic conferences and meetings, and treaty negotiations if imminent peace threatened the galaxy. We were to do whatever we could to facilitate communication, resulting in the termination of hostilities.
Now you may be asking yourself, how could disrupting peace treaties and starting wars among Republic-aligned worlds be beneficial to Goto and in turn the Republic? Goto gives one reason, and HK-47 provides us with another.
I have discovered that when they are used in negotiations, they have a predictable pattern of sabotaging whatever peace treaties they are involved with. Because their behavior is predictable, of course. By monitoring their presence, I know which worlds will suffer civil wars, planetary conflicts, and Republic bombardment.
And while they are attempting to pass themselves off as translation droids, their primary functionality keeps rising to the forefront. For example, on Praven Prime, the simple transferring of Elzing syntax for friendship changes its meaning and implies that one's broodmate was actually impregnated by their own host.
If that was spoken aloud, then it would explain much. Is that what happened?
Confirmation. Oh, truly, you can imagine the results. Statement. This comment, of course, caused a civil war between the Guvandi Collective and Elzing that still persists to the current date. In the case of Praven Prime, the civil war actually forced the Republic to back out of Guvandi's space and let their world fall from Republic control. As I understand it, that would be best. Keeping such a world would have been a token gesture of control. As an added burden, the resources needed to invest in diplomatic and trade relations would have far outweighed what would have been required. Besides, Master, quite frankly, the Guvandi and Elzing needed a good war. They were races that relied more on words than actions, and a good brisk killing woke them from their torpid state. Also, the result of the war will be that the drastically reduced Elzing population will eventually need to call upon the Republic for emergency relief. The Republic stands to gain. The Republic will be able to supply such emergency relief at a fraction of the cost to the now reduced population. Of course, such aid would only come 4 or 5 years after the war was started. One would have to be patient and let death and destruction run its course.
The final purpose of the HK-50's was that Revan planned to use them to cripple Republic ships during combat, ensuring himself victory in any engagement. How were they going to do this? More than likely, sabotage. Revan, as we know, wanted to keep the Republic's military strength as intact as possible, so having the HK-50 droids disable critical systems from within capital ships and forcing the Republic forces into surrender would be ideal. Failing that, however, there was a contingency in place.
In the unlikely event that we are dismantled or defeated during the course of our duties, each of us becomes equipped with a proton core that is detonated upon the loss of function. Tactical statement. This core can also be detonated when in proximity to a large number of targets. Addendum statement, or when the proper release code is transmitted.
Guess who most likely has those proper release codes? Goto. Considering he possesses every bit of data from the factory and reactivated the droids himself, I believe he has them and is willing to use them if the need ever arises.
I believe it is possible to stabilize the Republic, but there must be action taken without constraints immediately.
If the Republic finds itself on the absolute brink, and Goto calculates no other choice, I believe an ultimatum would be given to the Republic. Still masquerading as human, Goto will attempt to take complete control of the Republic. 2 or 3 HK-50 units will be detonated aboard ships to show that he's serious. The explosions would destroy any evidence, maintaining the other droids cover, giving him eyes, ears, and saboteurs throughout the Republic, making Goto its de facto ruler. What follows is a series of policies dictated towards the populace, all in the pursuit of preserving the Republic, in whatever fashion it may be. Will the results be an overall good thing? Will the populace be happy?
I should regulate human affairs precisely because I lack all ambition, whereas human beings are prey to it. Their history is a succession of inane squabbles, each one coming closer to total destruction. I was directed to make the world safe and prosperous, and I will do that. You will give me the ability.
In Hong Kong, it ordered the police to remove all barricades from the roads. Traffic is flowing again. It declared the triads illegal and locked the door to the Luminous Path compound. And people are obeying? Why? Because the AI can change some codes and turn out the lights? I think everyone wants the roads to be open and trade to pick up. They just obeyed. I don't know what to think. They trust the AI. Almost no one complained when Helios cut power to the government buildings. A benevolent dictator.
Ask yourself, what are the benefits and drawbacks of a republic? And what are the benefits and drawbacks of a dictatorship? Is a dictatorship automatically a negative? Or is there a time and a place? Or perhaps it takes the right person?
You know their flag. A bear with 2 heads. Symbols an old world one. Had 1 head then. Better off for it. Their flag speaks to their spirit. They're split like any 2-headed animal, trying to go in different directions, ending up nowhere.
But that might be a video for another day. What do you think Goto is liable to do? Do you think I may be right about any of this? If you have any suggestions on things I can look into, leave those in the comment section as well. I can make a whole nother video talking about what the HK-50's tell you inside the factory that I didn't use here. If you want me to make it and don't want to miss it, then please like, subscribe, and share this video however and wherever you can. If you haven't yet, check out this theory video on screen now. I discussed how the Mandalorian Wars was a genius Sith plan, technically surpassing that of Darth Sidious. Until next time, thanks for watching.